Your achievement can be no greater than your plans are sound. Hello, I'm Carla, psychotherapist and mindset coach, and on this channel, I help you get unstuck and reach your goals by exploring topics that shift your mindset so you can live your highest potential. We are continuing the reading of Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and I'm reading from the condensed version, Think and Grow Rich in 10 Minutes a Day. We are on Chapter 6, Organized Planning, the sixth step toward riches. Your achievement can be no greater than your plans are sound. How to build practical plans. The most intelligent man living cannot succeed in accumulating money, nor in any other undertaking, without plans which are practical and workable. This is the number one area that we get it wrong. What's the saying? You fail to plan, then you plan to fail. We must have workable, practical plans. And that's what I love about Napoleon Hill. All of his principles talk about practicality, taking action, doing plans. You know what? I heard this woman, she has a lot of followers and she reviews books, and she was reviewing a book about Napoleon Hill, and she probably read it once. She probably didn't even read the whole thing. She probably read Cliff Notes. Of course, I was triggered because she was saying, it talks a lot about think and grow rich. You can think and grow rich, but we must take action. I'm like, girl, you did not read this book, because Napoleon Hill is all about action. But you know what? That's the problem in this world. People believe what other people say. There was like almost 1 million views on that channel, on that video. People believing this review about Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich, and that it's all about, we just think and we grow rich. Hello, she took the title literally. She probably did not read the book, because she would not say that. Napoleon Hill is all about taking action. Anyways, that is my rant. A mastermind group discussed at length in Chapter 9 is the secret for developing and refining practical plans, the necessary ingredient to translate desire into material riches. Every plan should either be jointly created or evaluated and approved by other group members. The following are steps for creating practical plans. 1. Build a mastermind group that will provide you all the necessary support to create and or execute your plans. 2. Determine what assistance and expertise you can provide in exchange for group members' cooperation and insight. 3. Schedule meetings with this group at least twice per week. 4. Ensure that perfect harmony is maintained between group members. This last point is incredibly important, as common interests and goals are crucial for the mastermind principle to work. Having harmony in the group. That's why you really have to pick your mastermind group members very carefully. Most of the time, your mastermind group members will not be your friends or family. Find like-minded people who believe in you, who aren't putting their subjective limitations on you or hold you to your old past mistakes. Find a fresh group of people. Be very careful when you make your mastermind group. Make sure that there's harmony, that everybody's on the same page. One thing that I do is I always say, let's do this mastermind group. Let's try it for 4 weeks straight, and then let's reassess. So it's kind of like everybody is it's like a probation period. Because if you just join a mastermind group and no one really has any rules set, it's like you might be a month and you're like, oh my God, I really don't jive with these people. Or maybe things change and then you don't have a way out, and then you feel bad and you feel guilty. Trust me, this has happened so many times with mastermind groups. But try it out. Give it 4 weeks and then reassess and say, you know what? I'm going to take a break, or you know what? This isn't for me, or you know what? Let's go. Let's commit to 6 months together. But be very careful when you choose your mastermind group members. So that last point of being in harmony is so powerful. It's crucial for the mastermind principle to work. Also, make sure that your group members are not inclined to accept defeat. Do not get in a mastermind group with some Debbie Downers who need you to pump them up. You guys are all there to pump each other up. There is no such thing as no. Be delusional. Any ding dong, as Bob Proctor would say, any ding dong can figure out why something won't work. It takes somebody of true intelligence and of faith to figure out why it would. So keep in mind the following. Your ability to translate desire into material riches depends on the soundness of your plans. So dedicate sufficient time and care to ensure their workability. No person has enough experience, education, native ability, and imagination to accumulate a great fortune without the help of others. There is no such thing as a self-made man. It takes a community, it takes a village, it takes a tribe. And anybody who says that they don't receive help, they lying. The power of persistence. Remember, when your plans fail, that temporary defeat is not permanent failure. Let me read that again. When your plans fail, the temporary defeat is not permanent failure. It may only mean that your plans have not been sound. Build other plans. Start all over again. This is the whole thing with, people say, don't have a plan B. I understand what they're saying, and it's semantics here. Have all the plans you want. Have plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, all the way to Z. Just don't have a goal B. I think that's what they were trying to say, but people take it literally and then they have a plan A and they don't derive from it. It's just like that story in U Squared by Price Pritchett with the fly going against the window pane. This was plan A, the window. The goal of the fly, his plan was, I want to go outside. My plan A is to go outside, and my plan is to get out this window. But guess what? The window is shut. But since this fly is taking the advice of everybody saying, I can't have a plan B, I don't want to give up on getting outside. This is my plan to get out the window. But the fly keeps going against the window. The window ain't going to open. The fly is going to end up dead on the windowsill with all the other dead flies who did not have a plan B, like, oh my God, plan B, let's fly out the door, the open door. But it's the same goal. The goal is to get outside, but the plan to get there can change. So there's a lot of rhetoric. I work with a lot of actors and artists, and they think, their goal is to act or to be a musician. Have that be your goal. Never give up on it. But if your plan isn't working, if you've been in your city in Los Angeles or New York or wherever you're trying to make it, and you've been there for 5, 10, 20 years, your plan isn't working. And that's okay. But it's like, when did we reassess it? When were we honest with ourselves and say, my plan isn't working? But do we have too much pride? Did we not understand, like, oh my God, do we have too much pride? We didn't want to start over and say, oh, I can't scrap my plan. Everyone's going to make fun of me. Screw it. That's another tenet of Napoleon Hill. Fear of what other people will think will keep you stuck. And in a plan, that ain't working. We're going to end up dead on the windowsill like all the other flies. So build new plans if it's not working. Just do not build a new goal and a new dream if that's what you truly want. Organized planning, or the restructuring of knowledge via the imaginative faculties, which we talked about in imagination, the creative imagination or synthetic imagination. So using those creative imaginative faculties into a definite plan of action requires persistence or an inability to accept temporary defeat. We often look at the most successful business people and assume that they had an easy ride to the top, but appearances are deceiving. The vast majority of people who have amassed great fortunes did not inherit the money and had no particular advantage. What distinguishes them from the majority is the definiteness of their purpose, their goal, they know where they're going, their ability to organize knowledge into definite plans through their imagination as well as through their mastermind alliance, and their unwillingness to accept the finality of defeat. Thomas Edison, for instance, failed 10,000 times before he perfected the incandescent light bulb. Steve Jobs was fired from his own company before he was rehired and turned Apple into the electronics giant that it became. J.K. Rowling had trouble finding a publisher for her massively successful Harry Potter series and lived on welfare as a single mother while writing the books. Amazon's Fire Phone was a huge dud, but it provided the insight the company needed to develop its Echo Smart speakers and Alexa cloud-based virtual assistant. I didn't know that. Wow. The lesson? Never accept failure as final. What are you working on? What just keeps flopping? What doesn't work? What are you learning? Scrap that plan, take what you learned from it, build a new plan, but keep that same goal. If it's a true goal of your heart, if it's a true desire, if it's something you want to achieve in your life and you truly want it, all you need is faith and persistence. You will get there. You just need to have these plans, as he's telling us. Never accept failure as final. Reframe all defeat as a temporary setback, one that can be overcome by a new plan. The problem isn't with your idea, it's with the execution, the plans. If one plan doesn't work, try another and another and another until you find one that works. Remember the lesson from Darby's gold mining story. Don't stop now. You might be only 3 feet from gold. Ooh, if you haven't read that story in Think and Grow Rich, the 3 feet from gold story, there's this man who bought this piece of property that had a gold mine, and he had great success in finding the gold. All of a sudden, the vein of gold stopped. All of the money he invested in all of the equipment for the mining, he lost out. He sold it for cheap. He got out of there. He sold it to a man who understood that it was temporary defeat. If there was gold in this mine, it was there. You just had to find it and have patience and persistence. Anyways, the man who took it over ended up finding the vein of gold. It was just 3 feet away from where that other man stopped mining. Oh, But anyways, the story is great, and that other guy ended up really successful. You should read it. And Napoleon Hill always ends the chapter with an action item. The action item for this chapter is increase your persistence. Write the following sentence on a small sheet of paper. Cardstock works best to ensure durability. I use those 3x5 cards. So write this sentence and place it somewhere easily accessible so you can read it aloud each morning and night. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. Oh, that's so good. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. So write that. This is your homework. This is the action item for this chapter. Write that on a 3x5 card. Write it with a dry erase marker on your mirror. Put it on your dashboard of your car, wherever you're going to see it. Put it with a magnet on your refrigerator. Write on your nightstand where you can see it when you wake up in the morning. Put it on your ceiling. A quitter never wins, and a winner never quits. Put it as a screensaver on your phone so you can see it. We must be persistent. This helps us with our persistence. He goes on talking more about selling yourself. The real employer of the future will be the public. That is so true. We're seeing it all the time with people on social media or on YouTube. The public is deciding who they're going to listen to, who they're going to employ. We are our own personal brand. In this world of media, social media, we're creating a digital resume. So the real employer of the future will be the public. Gosh, this speaks so true to these times. Where we speak, whatever stage we're on, metaphorically speaking, whether you're a teacher, work at a bank, wherever it is, your audience, so to speak, will be your public, and they will dictate how much you earn by the service that you render. Hill identifies two primary ways to amass riches: compensation for personal services and the sale of ideas. Personal services include endeavors such as law, medicine, consulting, design, finance, or any activity intended to provide a service directly to customers. They are unique in that they do not require any capital in order to generate revenue, as the revenue is generated by selling an individual's knowledge and or effort. That is literally what people are doing all the time right now. They're making a killing on social media, here on YouTube, by selling their ideas, by teaching people, which the public is voting for every time they watch their videos or support their channel or whatever, their Patreon or whatever it is that people make money. They're literally providing knowledge and they're getting compensated for it. Hill saw in personal services a great opportunity for a nation coming out of the Depression whose people lacked startup resources other than their own experience, intellect, and work ethic. We're seeing that right now. I would say that the United States especially is in somewhat of a depression. And when people don't have any monetary, any capital to start a business, so to speak, they can use their own experience, their intellect, and their work ethic as the capital, so to speak. Because think about it, everybody has a cell phone, almost everybody. And there's young kids out there turning on their cell phone, using free Wi-Fi at Starbucks, putting videos for free on YouTube and gaining millions of followers, or on TikTok. And then they get approached by advertisement agencies. So they really don't need any capital or money. They're just using their pure raw work ethic. The opportunities truly are endless. Today, there is just as much opportunity in personal services as there was when Hill wrote the book in 1937. America's capitalist economy offers endless opportunity for individuals with imagination, but you must provide value before expecting a return. That's where I see a lot of people getting it wrong. They see other people making a killing on social media or the internet, and they just think that they could start it up and start making money right away. These people have been working for years. Like, for example, this is my 3rd year. I've been putting out videos. I have hundreds of videos. I haven't earned a dime, but I just keep doing it. Eventually, I would love to make money off of YouTube, but I'm not going to stop and expect the money before I start offering value. I'm offering value and I'm giving. Then I know the money will come. It might not come through YouTube. It might come through other things. And they have. I've been approached by other things to collaborate or to make money. That's how it works. You have to first give before you get. But we're trained and we're impatient and we want to get before we give. Or we just want to give a little and then say, well, where's my money? Or where's my, kudos? We must be persistent. He goes on to say, remember, there is always a cost for success. You must determine what you are willing to give or give up in exchange for attaining your definite chief aim. The world is filled with people who want money. The desire alone does not set you apart. You must be worth more and be able to market the value you add. We truly are all gold mines. You are a gold mine. And that is what Andrew Carnegie taught Napoleon Hill, that riches do not come from outside. They come from within. through ideas, through inspired thought. Think about it. Anything in this world. Think about Elon Musk. Think about Steve Jobs. They're billionaires. Or who's the Bezos? Jeff Bezos. They're billionaires. But how did they get to be that? They had an idea. I love the story of Sarah Blakely, the inventor of Spanx. When she was younger, she wanted $1 billion idea, and she would talk to the universe, or however she describes it. I think she might even say, like, I would just put it out there. Give me $1 billion idea. She would go door to door selling, fax machines. And one day she got the idea of cutting a hole in pantyhose and making the fabric a little more tight to kind of suck it in. And that's how she created Spanx. Her story's amazing. Look it up on YouTube. There's so many videos and interviews of Sarah Blakely, the inventor of Spanx. She wanted $1 billion idea, and just know that not just geniuses get these ideas. You just have to be open for it. Ideas are floating around. And I think somewhere Napoleon Hill says, ideas are like slippery fish. If you do not catch them when they come to you, it'll float to the next person. And it happens all the time. We're all connected to this universal mind, this universal consciousness. There are 8.5 billion people on this planet right now, 8+ billion brains, but there's only one mind. We're all connected to that one universal mind, that infinite intelligence that is always speaking to everybody. But do we care to listen? Are we getting quiet? Are we asking questions and listening for the answer? Allow yourself to be that vessel. People who have achieved great things, they're just vessels. They're not the ones that came up with it. The idea came to and through them. We are not the source. We are not the light. We're the lamp. We are not the water. We're the faucet. Allow yourself to be that conduit. But to be the conduit for something to come to and through, we must be clean. We must listen. We must be quiet. We can't be filled up with all these ideas, because then we won't accept new ones. If all we're thinking is, oh, I can't do that, only they can do that, this and that, do you think an enlightened idea is going to come to you? No, you have to be expecting it. And as Napoleon Hill says, you have to take action. Take immediate action on these ideas as they come to you. How many times have you seen people, or maybe you yourself, you had an idea, you thought, oh, someone probably already thought of that, or oh, that's a stupid idea. No one's ever going to go for that. And then years later, you see somebody else doing it. You're like, oh my God, I had that idea a long time ago. Well, guess what? You said no to it. So it flipped on to somebody else, and then they took action on it. So you are a vessel. Know yourself to be that conduit for amazing ideas. Napoleon Hill says here, there's a cost for success. We must get quiet. We must cut out all of the clutter, all of the habits that don't serve us. He says that there's everybody. The world is filled with people who want money, but just wanting it is not enough. To set yourself apart, you must give that value and be worth it. And you are. Believe that you are. You truly are. We all are. Below are guidelines and principles from the chapter that are intended to help readers market their personal services. The insights are particularly relevant to leaders, regardless of industry, as many of the principles pertain to how to motivate individuals to action. So now he lists important factors of leadership. Leadership by consent, cooperation, is always more effective than leadership by force. The following are attributes of leaders who successfully lead through a partnership with their team members. 1, unwavering courage. 2, self-control. 3, a keen sense of justice. 4, definiteness of decision. 5, definiteness of plans. 6, the habit of doing more than what is paid for, going the extra mile. 7, a pleasing personality. 8, sympathy and understanding. 9, mastery of detail, willingness to assume full responsibility. 10, cooperation. 10 major causes of failure in leadership. Number 1, inability to organize details, which requires efficiency and the ability to delegate. Number 2, unwillingness to render humble service. There is no job too small for great leaders. Number 3, expectation of pay for what they know instead of what they do with what they know. You see that all the time. The 4th cause of failure in leadership, fear of competition from followers. Leaders should train understudies so that they can successfully delegate. Number 5, lack of imagination. Oh God, lack of imagination. Number 6, selfishness. Good leaders do not claim praise for themselves, but redirect it to the team. Number 7, intemperance. And intemperance means just lack of moderation or be able to restrain oneself, having self-control. Number 8, disloyalty. Number 9, emphasis of the authority of leadership, leading by fear/force rather than encouragement/cooperation. How many times do we see people in leadership positions that throw around their power, talk down to people, blame others, abuse and misuse their power? And number 10, emphasis of title. Kind of like what that is. Like, I'm the boss. Don't you know who I am? Just throwing their name around. And then he goes on to describe how to get the exact position you desire. Number 1, determine the exact job you want. If it doesn't exist, create the position yourself. Ooh, I did this for myself for my therapy practice. I did not want to be a full-time therapist, so I wanted to create content. So I went to my boss, I created this whole job description that didn't exist, and he gave it to me. So determine the exact job you want. If it doesn't exist, create the position for yourself. Have fun with it. Don't be afraid. Create your own job description. Like, you know how you go online and you go to the places where they have all the job descriptions and job postings? Make your own and go into jobs and say, hey, I would love this job. And they look at you like you have 3 heads. Like, this job doesn't exist. Be like, yes, I know, but I think I could really contribute. This is a job position you didn't know you needed. And I'm the person to do it. Number 2, select the company or individual for which/whom you intend to work. Number 3, research this company or individual extensively. Number 4, analyze your talents and capabilities to determine what exactly you can offer this company or individual. Number 5, do not worry about whether there is a current job posting or position available. Focus on the value you can add. This is another thing. Don't just look for job postings. Look at the job, research a place you really want to work for. Don't even look if they're hiring. Just ask for the manager and say, look, I really love your company and this is why, because you did your research and you know what you can offer them. And say, you know what? I just wanted to meet you. I just wanted to let you know how much I love your company. I would love to work for this company. These are my skills. This is my resume. Here's a job position that I really would love to fulfill for you. They're going to love that initiative right away. So don't pay attention if they're even looking for new employees. Just go in and offer your resume. Number 6, write or hire someone to write a cover letter that explains in detail your plan for providing the company or the individual with specific benefits through your services. Number 7, identify the proper person with authority to whom you can send your letter and your resume. Get the point people of the company that you want to work for, or the assistant for the individual you want to work for, or just contact the individual directly. What is your QQS rating? Hill provides the following formula for determining how much you can market your services for and how long you will be employed. QQS, what does it stand for? Quality plus quantity plus spirit of cooperation equals perfect salesmanship of service. Quality is the attention to detail, efficacy, and efficiency. Quantity is the ability, attained through habit, of increasing the amount of service offered. Spirit is agreeable personality and harmonious conduct. Ooh, and here we go. I think this ends the chapter. 30 major causes of failure. Use the following as a checklist to determine which characteristics you currently possess. This is a very important activity that will enable you to identify what is standing between you and success. So let's listen to these 30 major causes of failure, and let's be honest with ourselves. Which ones apply to us? I'm not going to read the numbers. I'm just going to read them out. There's 30. Unfavorable hereditary background, lack of a well-defined purpose in life, lack of ambition to aim above mediocrity, insufficient education, lack of self-discipline, poor health, unfavorable environmental influences during childhood, procrastination, lack of persistence, negative personality, lack of controlled sexual urge, uncontrolled desire to get something for nothing, inability to make and stick with decisions, one or more of the 6 basic fears listed in chapter 14, wrong selection of a marriage partner, overcaution, poor choice of business associates, superstition and prejudice, incorrect career choice, failure to focus effort on one's definite chief aim, inability to manage money, lack of enthusiasm, intolerance or closed-mindedness, intemperance, especially in eating, alcohol, and sex, inability to cooperate with others, privilege, meaning power, advantages received through birth, intentional dishonesty, egotism and vanity, lack of critical thinking skills, and lack of capital. Only the first of these is outside of the control of the individual, and it can be remedied by supplementing one's abilities through a mastermind alliance. So what were the ones that he said are out of our control? Oh, unfavorable hereditary background, lack of a well-defined purpose in life, lack of ambition. So that can be remedied by using our mastermind alliance. And here's another action item. We got 2 in this chapter. Create a practical plan for marketing your personal services. Based on the information contained in this chapter, Draft a plan to exchange your personal services in order to move closer to your definite chief aim. Consider, in what areas do you have expertise or experience? What services would help translate your desire into material reality? Who, specifically, would benefit from these services? Whose knowledge would help you develop and market these services? How much could you charge for these services? Use the QQS formula to assess. How long would it take for you to achieve your desired end by providing these services? So through this list, he's saying, start with what are your areas? What are you an expert in? And what services does that translate to that you can charge somebody for? How would others benefit from it? Yeah, just rewind that and listen to that list. That's really good. Once you've formed your mastermind group, present this plan to them and revise it according to their feedback. Continue to revise, reformulate, or completely redo your plans based on the public's response to your attempts. Wow, that was it. Chapter 6, Organized Planning, the 6th Step to Riches. That was a long one, team. The next chapter is one of my favorites, Decision, Chapter 7. So that'll be the next video. Let me know how it's going for you. Leave a comment, send me an email, ask any questions that you have. As always, thank you so much for watching. We will dive into Chapter 7 next time. Have a good one.